Skipidi Toilet 68, partea a doua este în sfârșit aici, așa că salutare fraților și bine v-am găsit la o nouă reacție a Skipidi Toilet. Ei bine, tocmai cred că parcă ieri sau cred că alaltă de fapt s-a Skipidi Toilet 68 partea a doua, dar nu am făcut isa reacție pentru că aveam alte lucruri de filmat și acum o să facem reacția. Eu zic că este destul de bine și sunt curios ce o să se întâmple în episodul de astăzi. Că dacă țineți minte, la prima parte s-a terminat când vrea mini-titanul TV să arte ceva pe ecranul lui, o transmisiune live, și poate acum o să fie acea transmisiune live și hai să vedem ce o să se întâmple. Îi dăm drumul? Hai să vedem. Și, by the way, dacă vă place acest episod, nu uitați să dați un like și subscribe pentru că mă ajută extrem de mult. Să strângem și noi 1000 de abonați pe acest canal și o mare parte dintre voi care mă uiți clipurile nu sunteți abonați, deci ar trebui să vă abonați pentru că pierdeți foarte multe lucruri. Și nu uitați că în descriere aveți semnul meu de Discord unde mai puteți să vorbim și mai pun pe anunțul când postez un clip, în caz că YouTube-ul nu trimite notificare. Bun, deci hai să vedem. Astea par niște toate numai, doar că au niște gheruțe, ok? Uite astea. Cred că noi suntem din perspectiva cameramanului ăla cu desundătoarele. Ok. Ia să vedem ce se întâmplă aici. Deci ăștia sunt agenții care au intrat în baza toaletelor, dacă știți, din ultima parte din episodul 67. Ești acolo ceva? Ia. Ok, mai multe. Uite, deci din câte vedeți sunt toalete normale, doar că au ghearele astea sau ce-o fi ele. S-au dus. Da, uite, vedeți, am văzut un secretar în mâna cu haina ruptă, deci da, sunte chiar cu adevărat din perspectiva cameramanului cu desfundătoarele. Ia. Opa, ce se întâmplă? Ceva aici? Bro, suntem în fabrică, bro, mai știți fabrica asta? Bă, când veneau toate așa pe linie, mi-am din episoadele alea mai vechi. Noi am văzut fabrica asta acum mult timp, dar nu știam de fapt ce e. Unde a apărut prima dată Skipidi Mafia, dacă știți. Wow, și uite, toalete normale sunt aici. Uite. Uite-mă aici cum se construiesc toaletele. Deci uite, le pune jetpack, le pune alea de gaz. Deci practic ele sunt toalete normale la început și le face ei, le pune diferite upgrade-uri. Mamă, câtă tare. Ok. Nu. Ce nu? Ia. Opa. Transmission error, recording error. Uite, că e transmisiunea live de la Large TV, man. Și e eroare la transmisie, ce se întâmplă? A pornit alarma. I-a observat. I-a observat. Asta nu e bine. Mamă, ce mare bă ăla! Ce era laserul ăla verde? Ok. Mamă, și-a pierdut o mână. Nu, mamă, ce-a zis ăla. Mamă, ce încearcă ăla să intre. Are șansă. Dar cameramanul a gigantic e mort, din păcate. Îi dă aia, protecția. Și-a murit, bă. Și coboară mai jos. Sunt curios ce o să fie mai jos. Oh, e roșu tot aici. Și aici s-a terminat. Wow! Deci chiar sunt curios și în zona asta roșie. Iar acum suntem la videoclipul secrete de la băiatul nostru Eli, care să ne explice aici tot ce se întâmplă. Sunt curios dacă el o să că e din perspectiva cameramanului cu desfundătoarele.
Hello everyone, Elite Cameraman here. And guys, this is not a drill. We actually got a new episode after 9 days of waiting, and it's one of the craziest episodes yet. It had the most secrets, Easter eggs, and additions to the lore of any episode yet. It seems like we actually might have a traitor inside the Alliance, which is crazy to think about, but we should have seen this coming. With this new episode, the changes that happened on episode 67 full version actually does make more sense, and we also might know when the next episode or part might be coming out, but we'll get into all that later in the video, so make sure to watch until the end. There is actually so much to talk about in this episode, it's insane. Everything from the Skipidi factory, the Walter White appearance, what's Secret Agent's goal, and a lot more. But before we start the analysis, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to pay your respects to the large cameraman who gave his life for the Alliance. Let's try to get to 100,000 likes for his sake. Rest in peace, brother. You were the best POV cameraman we've ever had, and thanks to you, we were able to watch the return of Titan TV Man. May the cameraman gods rest your soul. Anyways, here we go. This episode starts with a speaker man hitting a toilet with his spiky bat.
Am uitat să bag astea, gata. Așa, am uitat să bag subtitrările.
While another speaker man is literally chilling on the left cleaning his knife. And no, it totally does not look sus. And I totally do not clean my knife with a TV woman picture next to me. This speaker man most likely stabbed the dead toilet on the left and right after. The camera zooms out and we see the dark speaker man walking menacingly as usual, while our beloved large cameraman literally breaks a toilet's neck with one move. This scene also has other details which we have to talk about. If we freeze the frame and zoom into the right side, we see a poster with the Skipidi Alliance logo on it, but it's actually branded in a different way with the canyons behind it. You might be asking why I'm showing you this, and the reason is we can actually see a writing on the left top and we can barely read the whole word. This was clearly put there for a reason because this poster is most likely fully custom made and the word fits the frame just barely. It says appliance, but it's actually missing one P in the word. This could be a mistake or could have been done knowingly to fit it in the frame. The missing P aside, those canyons clearly looks like the outside of the Skipidi bunker, and it having both the logo and the word appliance makes me think that this place is where the toilets store everything and get upgraded. This was also proved later in the video with the factory we saw, but we'll get to that later in the video. While the POV cameraman is turning left, we see that most of the cameramen are chilling and don't seem that scared of this situation. And right when we turn fully left, we see that we are actually in the POV of plunger cameraman. And it really has been a minute since this happened. In my last video where I talked about the last leak, I actually mentioned that we could be in the POV of plunger cameraman. And I guess I was right. We haven't really seen plunger cameraman using his true skills in this episode, and this kind of leads me to think that we might actually get a part 3 once again with the plunger cameraman POV next time as well. Who knows, maybe it'll be a 5-part episode for the first time. There is also the fact that we are most likely not going to skip any time between today's episode and the next, because it ended in a cliffhanger once again. This episode was one of those episodes I actually enjoyed quite a lot because of how it went deep in the lore and added on to it. We also have gotten a small confirmation from Defuk about the next episode. At least that's what we think. Right after he posted this episode, he decided to post it on Instagram. It's still the same post, but in the description there is a Russian word, and if we translate the word, it actually says 1 week. This most likely means that we'll be getting the new episode in just a week, which is good to hear because this episode almost took 10 days. And I have seen some people disappointed about the episode just because it took 10 days. Bruh, Do you have any idea how much effort
Probabil de episod că trebuia să se lanseze tot s-a lăsat în 10 zile.
it takes to make these videos for Dafuk? Just because it took longer to make and you had to wait 10 days for it doesn't make it a bad episode. This literally was the first episode where we got to see stuff that added on to the lore and actually had real Easter eggs in a long while. Also, everyone needs to understand that this is a part 2 of an episode, so it technically is not the full episode, and I'm assuming that we might get a part 3 or even more, as I said, so once we see the full episode in one go, it'll probably make more sense. After Plunger Cameraman takes his plunger out of the toilet, we see another bunker door in front of us and a cameraman going to the keypad thingy on the right side.
Da, folosește keycard-ul să deschidă ușa asta sau ce-o fi ea, cu logo-ul de la toalete. Și acolo în mijloc pare a fi Jimmy, că văd că e cu laserele alea din ochi dacă observați.
We really do zoom into the Skipidi Alliance logo a lot, and there is something weird about this place because why is this logo covered with blood? The door we'll see later in the video also had the same thing, and this is why I think it's extra weird. I see two possibilities here. First one is the boring one. There is a possibility that one of the toilets went crazy and was roaming around causing chaos across the laboratory, and Skibidi toilets had to stop him by force, causing the logo to get blood on it. But if that was the case, why isn't there any blood on the rest of the door? And why is the same mark on the other door as well? I think this blood was spilled there intentionally. There is a possibility that the hate towards G-Man toilet is ramping up. Because don't forget, we also saw one of the Astro toilets in episode 68 part 1, and the UFO toilet was literally watching the G-Man toilet clones die from the shadows. This clearly shows us that they are around the area, and they actually might have control over the lab. We don't know the details yet, but if they are trying to overtake G-Man toilet and banish him, it would make sense to dirty his name by spilling blood on every door with the logo, because this logo clearly represents the toilets as if G-Man Toilet is the leader. What happens after this scene is the real shocker, and it actually goes in so deep. Plunger Cameraman looks to his right, and we see the normal cameraman thinking about how we could open the door, but the brown...
Și ăsta, cameramanul cu desfătătoarele, observă pe ăsta. Cameraman normal cum încearcă să deschidă ușa.
Shirt cameraman comes in and says 1 second with his hands. After this, he gets some type of device out of his pocket and uses it on the screen. It weirdly sends out a green...
Are un aparat, nu știu, de hackuit sau ceva, habar nu am, care este verde. Știți că chestia când apărea creatorul era verde, cam asta e și aparatul ăsta de hackuit.
Beam and hacks the system, leading the door to open. But before that, we can see the normal cameraman asking for the device or asking what it is with his hands, but the brown shirt cameraman just
și întreabă pe camera ce e aia din mâna ta.
Ignores it for some reason. Weirdly, this is not going to be the last time he does this. It actually goes much deeper than that, because I didn't realize this before, but if we go back to episode 67 part 4, we'll actually see something weird. If you start watching from the second, where the POV cameraman starts chasing after the tiny scientist toilet, we see that there is no one other than the large speaker man trying to run inside.
A fost în partea a treia, dacă nu mă înșel. În partea a treia, când ăsta... large ăsta, Speakerman, s-a sacrificat ca ăștia să intre.
Once we turn our head inside, we see many cameraman and speakerman running inside, other than just one. And for some reason, it's the brown shirt cameraman standing next to the security screen that is also glowing green.
Dar aici a intrat și
even though we see everyone else having momentum and running inside, he looks like he was already inside there before, and actually used the device to close the door, because from what we can see, he is able to unlock these doors however
a folosit device-ul să închidă ușa.
he wants, and he 100% could have saved our beloved injured large speaker man. The Chad himself died because of this guy. If you guys have watched my last video, you would know that Dafuk wrote, "Not everyone is on your side," and this leak shows a scene that we'll see a little later in the video, and if you look carefully, we can see the brown shirt down. But that's not all, and it goes even deeper, which is crazy. Because the people who have watched my
Să meargă
episode
mai
67
jos.
full episode changes analysis video would know that there was a very big change. And I think now we know the reason behind this. In the normal version of episode 67 part
67 partea 1, 67 full. Deci e diferență de grafică. Aici, când apare creatorul, când a fost lansat partea 1, se vede așa mai în ceață, nu foarte clar. Aici, când este episodul full, se vede mai clar. Destul de interesant.
1, the first time we see the secret agent there is only him standing inside the green glow.
Chestiile astea nu
But
le-am
Tafuk
observat.
decided to change this in the full version of the episode, most likely to give us a clue about what's going on. And it all makes sense now because with the new
Uitați ce s-a
changes,
acolo.
there was actually 2 people standing in the green glow. And there is a very likely chance that this other person is the brown shirt cameraman because
E o altă persoană cu îmbrăcăminte maro să fie, ci că ar fi un cameraman. Bă, nu se știe. Dar într-adevăr se vede încă o persoană lângă creator.
his silhouette matches 100%. They both have a long coat, and it makes sense that the brown cameraman got this hacking
nu
device
știm
from the
ce
secret
e,
agent.
care
And let me
treaba aceea
remind you
secretă.
that the secret agent was the one who told the POV cameraman to look to his left and follow the scientist's toilet in episode 67,
Da,
part
da.
4. I have no idea what the secret agent is cooking up
Ne-a
and
zis
what his
despre
grand
asta că a
plan is,
ieșit
but it
din,
sure is something crazy.
costumul ăla mare.
I don't think people realize how big of a problem this is because he probably is not necessarily helping the Alliance. He is just using them depending on his needs, and until now we have seen him watch over Plunger Cameraman many, many times, and if I'm honest, I do have a bad feeling about the next couple episodes because of this.
Ăsta
We
a
already
intrat la
know that
fix.
Plunger Cameraman is a little hurt after episode 67, and now this. What if the
Speakermanul ăsta din păcate a murit. Deci,
secret
da.
agent was making sure that Plunger Cameraman would eventually get inside the bunker, and what if he needs him to do
Dar vreau să trecem direct pe aici, uite. Așa.
away like
Aici.
scientist cameraman? We saw that the squad killed many of them at the beginning of the episode, but it's much clearer to see their capabilities
Sunt foarte multe scoruri de-astea, toalete cu cuțitașele alea.
if we freeze the frame right when the door opens up. It's clear that they have 4 claw arms and 2 normal arms with actual
Deschide
hands.
ușa
We see them all having glasses, kind of representing them being scientists.
și poartă ochelari ăștia. Doar că nu e niciun TV-man intrat aici.
But the more important thing is the baldy toilet on the left with the shiny bald head.
E o toaletă chiar, adică nu are păr.
Yes, I had to say it twice. He has something which looks like a phone at first glance, but it's actually a clipboard. It's really not important what it is because this shows us that they can use their hands as if they are actually human. I think this might be foreshadowing the upcoming advancements the toilets are most likely going to get. They probably are going to start
Deci
becoming
vreau să
more
vezi
human-shaped
toaletele astea
like the
așa,
Alliance
având
over
în vedere ce
time.
toalete
Maybe
există
mutant
acum.
toilets they have created were trials for these. Or they also may even be
Oare
working to
cu
try and
toaletele
create a
mutante.
Titan-like toilet to go against the Titans, because we've seen time after time that no matter which toilet it is, they can't go against the Titans. But what if their Titan toilets actually had arms and legs to protect himself and actually use for extra strength? I'm not sure if this will become true, but it's a real possibility. The second the door opens up, we see the scientist toilets go into shocked face mode, and it doesn't last long until they all die because we see the dark speaker man literally dashing in with his jetpack and the plunger camera.
Deci ăla asasinul se numește Dark Speaker. Eu mereu îi ziceam asasin. Deci se numește Dark
Man
Speaker.
throws his plunger onto the baldy's face and jumps over to simply flush him. Right before he flushes the baldy toilet,
I-a
if
aruncat
we
direct
freeze the
aia în
frame and
față.
zoom into the back, we can see the speaker man is still beating a toilet with his bat next to this
Da, sunt și în spate toaletele.
Skipidi poster. And we see another goofy scene seconds later while plunger cameraman is turning to his left. We can see the speaker man putting his knife inside the toilet's heads, but he really doesn't look like he wants to. He literally slowly pushes it in. But I think we can understand why.
Cu ce a dat de... Are electricitatea albastră.
Because blood just cleaned it off at the beginning of the video. Right after we see the dark speaker man kill the last toilet standing, we turn back to the hallway just to see the brown shirt cameraman using the weird device once again to hack the door. In this frame, we can
ăsta
see
de
a piece of
hackuit din nou
paper
care
with the
să
number
deschidă
8
ușa
written on an
aia.
electric box on our
Bă,
left
deci
side.
device-ul ăsta este foarte bun la deschis uși.
I don't know if this matters, but this episode had many stuff that was put intentionally to the walls, so I wanted to mention it.
Dar nu merge
And once
deschisă
again, after the door
din
opens,
perete.
Plunger cameraman points to the brown shirt cameraman, but he just ignores it until they are interrupted by a sound and a machine getting a container from the hallway. Plunger cameraman instantly starts running towards it. He first tries to see what's going on by peeking through the corner, and we see a construction toilet flying with gray toilets back to back, rolling through a conveyor belt while yapping about random stuff. Plunger cameraman slowly sneaks to the door to see more, and the scene we see is
Cameramanul cu desfănătoare se furișează să
truly
observe mai
horrifying.
bine.
If we freeze the frame right here, there is already too much stuff going on. We can
A
see
fost
two
de-
engineer-like
A înghețat, practic, de ce tocmai a văzut aici,
toilets literally assembling the
văzut
gray
de doi
toilets with their
ingineri
acid upgrades, and it
care
looks like
făceau toate astea, uite, le punea jetpack, le punea asta de gaze, deci punea tot felul de chestii.
they are trying to get an army of acid toilets. There is
Da.
a
Făceau o armată de toalete cu acidul ăla.
likely chance that the toilets are planning on mass attacking the Alliance with the acids because they
Toate plănuiesc un atac în masă și o alianță cu acid.
know that it's the one thing that actually counters every single Alliance member right now. After this moment, the scientists at the Alliance bases better start making a new material that can protect everyone against acid. We also see a long corridor on the bottom as well, with rooms, and you know damn well who we are going to see there in a moment if you have watched the
Vedeam că
episode.
doar ăla care
After
știm
checking out the
noi e.
inside, we turn to the large cameraman, and he actually makes a sign to go inside and attack, but Plunger cameraman says no. The real question
no.
comes in right
No
at this
never go.
moment. If he said no, why the hell did he poke his head out literally seconds later? Right after his no, his screen suddenly starts glitching with green, and for the first
Ecranul i s-a gliciuit. Asta am văzut și eu, că ecranul i s-a gliciuit, s-a făcut verde, probabil de la creator
time
sau
ever,
ceva.
we see the words transmission error and recording error on the
Transmisiunea a
right
devenit,
top, while the screen
eroare.
is still glitching. This probably also means that the Alliance agents outside probably got very stressed when the transmission cut and it came back to actual chaos.
Posibil ca cei din afară să fie avut probleme să se fi întrerupt transmisia.
This will most likely lead
Da,
them
da,
to
nu
enter
se
the
știe.
bunker as well. But that's not the important thing, because right after the glitch, Plunger cameraman pokes his head out and starts looking at the corner of the room, which is glowing green in blips.
Încerc
After
să uită prin colț ăsta,
seeing
cameramanul
the
cu
green glow, he
desfănătoarele.
suddenly turns behind and looks at the large cameraman very weirdly by zooming into him and also zooming into the other three agents at the back, just to suddenly turn back to normal when he
Asta în
looks back
spate.
with the green glitch. And we also see one last green glow from the corner right before the glitch happens for the last time. I would like to say this was the weirdest thing that happened in today's episode, but it really wasn't. But we have to talk about what
Dar e
happened here
ciudat
because
cum de băiatul ăsta nu-și dă seama că fabrica asta parcă e de la început când a apărut prima dată Skipidi Mafia. Eu așa cred.
I don't think the
Nu știu dacă e
plunger
așa, dar
cameraman
seamănă
was
foarte
conscious
mult.
while poking his head out. I think the secret agent took control over plunger cameraman for a second and made him poke out to see what was happening at the corner. There is a possibility that he was maybe stealing some files or doing something wherever the green glow
E o posibilitate să fure documente.
is coming from, and he may have wanted to check if any toilets were looking at him or noticing him, because the way plunger cameraman looked back at the agents was very weird, and he looked as if he had no idea who was with him or to see what's going on behind him. Whatever the secret agent is cooking up, it better be worth it, because he is the reason why all the Sigma Large Alliance members are dying at this point. The second plunger goes back to normal. The whole factory's lights turn red and all alarms start going off, alerting the toilets of an intrusion. And the next scene was one of the scenes I laughed so hard because we get noticed by freaking Walter White and Jesse from
Ăla are
Breaking
un
Bad.
fes pe cap, ești
I
nebun?
really do wonder
Își observă și o să vină pe ei.
what they have been cooking up. Maybe they are the reason behind the red eyes some toilets have, who knows? We see some chemicals on their hands and it looks like their
Totul
toilets are
roșu aici.
yellow. But the real question here is the toilet behind the window. Why is he looking like as if he has seen a ghost? His reaction does not
Uite,
seem
parcă
normal
ar
at all
fi
to me.
văzut o
He does have the
fantomă.
same reaction as the scientist-looking toilets we saw earlier in the video, but why would he be scared when he is totally safe? Suddenly, one of the mechanic toilets appears in front of us, while all the other toilets are also looking at us as if we are
Uite, începe
disgusting,
ăștia
and our
să se
hero,
lupte
large
acum.
cameraman, shoots one of the chemicals on the ceiling to distract them, and it actually works. Plunger cameraman suddenly turns right, and we see the
Îi
brown
trage
shirt
acolo
cameraman
pica
using his
aia.
green laser once again to close off the door.
Trage
But
cu
in this
laserul
scene, there is
verde.
actually a huge Easter egg. Most of you already might have noticed this, but it's the writing on the wall. You might ask what this writing
Ce
is.
asta? GZSBOI Boi DUTQ. Ce asta? Habar n-am. Este ceva scris pe perete, dar nu înțeleg ce înseamnă.
And it's actually something really cool and something we've already talked about. If you write the letters minus GZSBOYDWTQ right after a link that starts with youtube.com/watch?V equals.
YouTube.com/G. Ai un canal de YouTube ăsta? Oh. Ok,
You'll
deci e un
actually be
canal de
directed
YouTube.
to an unlisted video on Defuk's channel, and it's actually the Godzilla versus Up.
Ăsta! Am mai văzut și eu cu asta, cu Godzilla și nu înțelegeam ce e. Deci e un link, practic, spre canalul care a făcut asta cu animația cu Godzilla. Ok.
Graded Titan TV Man leak we talked about a
Care
couple days
rezultă cu
ago,
Titan
it wasn't
TV Man.
confirmed that if Defuk made
Ce
this
s-a gândit să bage pe Godzilla în Skipidi Toilet?
troll leak or not back then, but
Și
because
știu
of
că
how
data
high
viitoare i-a
quality
dat
it was, we
Titan
thought
TV
it was
și a-
his video,
l-a distrus
and it
într-o
turned out to
clipă,
be
i-a tăiat
true.
capul.
He apparently uploaded
Da.
this 8 days ago and called it Godzilla Get Humbled, and gives copium to Godzilla fans at the end who thinks that Godzilla can beat upgraded Titan TV Man. Right after this,
asta?
all the agents start
Copium.
running
Ce
towards the door
copium?
we opened before coming to check out the end of the hallway. But right when the large cameraman is trying to escape,
Ok.
one of the mechanic
Acum
toilets throws his
cameramenii încearcă să
chainsaw right into his
scape.
shoulder, causing a very big
Bă, dar
damage.
i-a tras-o acolo,
Thankfully,
dar
the
i-a
large
dat la o
cameraman
mână.
shoots his rocket to knock the mechanic toilet back when he falls down.
I-a
We
dat
also can
acasă
see
un
that
pic
the blood on
înapoi
the
în
logo is also
spate.
apparent in this door as well. I really don't think this is a design choice by the toilets and something else, because every other normal logo we saw has been clean, unlike the ones on the doors, and the
Mamă,
blood
cum
is only
arată. Vezi care pe ochi un da, cum avea și scientistul.
on the logo and not the entire door. Right when we are trying to run to the door, another crazy-looking toilet with dual
Dacă
lasers
să-
show up out of
perușă.
nowhere at the end of the hallway, and before
Ia
his
vezi pe
lasers
ăla.
can get to us, the plunger cameraman jumps inside the elevator and on the wall while
Ăsta, cameramanul cu desfătătoare, sare în lift
he is jumping. It actually says
și
4.
așa practic se
This
duc
might mean that
mai
we are on the
jos.
4th floor right now, and we might have a long
Doar
journey in
că
front of us going down to floor
ăsta care
1,
vedem
unless
acum
we
n-a
just
mai
skip to floor
supraviețuit.
1 instantly at the end. But all that aside, what happens next is one of the saddest moments in the series. While our beloved large cameraman was trying to get inside the elevator,
A
he
încercat
gets
să
shot
intre în
by
lift,
4
dar n-a
incredibly powerful
reușit.
lasers at the same time and gets knocked
Mamă,
off,
dar i-a
even though
dat-o
he
ăla.
makes it inside and the other agents succeed in deflecting this toilet with receding hairline. Sadly, he doesn't have much time left. Plunger cameraman goes next to this Chad like being who protected us all for all he has got and served the Alliance as best as he can.
Ca să-i
And this
protegi pe
incredible
toți.
soldier still, even
Ăsta,
at his
din
last
păcate,
seconds, thinks about his mates
a murit.
and gives his lens protector to Plunger cameraman. He
Lăsa-o
does this
dimineața
while
în pace.
burning alive, and our hero gives his last thumbs up right before he dies off.
Uite, îi
Do not
dă
forget to pay your respects to this
protecția
incredible
și el moare
cameraman.
acum.
He really was the best of us. We see all the cameraman mourning for him and standing still, but everyone needs to snap out of it because of what's to come. The elevator keeps going down until it
curios unde
stops,
coboară
and when the
acum.
doors open, we see a much darker corridor with red lights all
Asta
over
e
the
că am văzut de
place.
fapt
And it doesn't seem like these are alarms,
întunecat cu luminile roșii. Aici s-ar putea să fie ceva mult mai periculos decât ce a fost mai sus.
because they are not really beeping, and the
chiar
episode
sunt
ends right
grosofi.
here. I'll
Și aici
talk
se
more about
termină
stuff I might have missed
episodul.
and what might happen in the next
Și să
episode
vorbim mai
tomorrow, so
multe
make sure to like this
în
video
următorul
and
ce se va
subscribe
întâmpla în
to
episodul
not miss
următor.
anything. Elite Cameraman
Deci chiar
out.
sunt curios ce o să se întâmple. Deci chiar sunt curios ce o fi în zona asta roșie și să spuneți și voi, oameni buni, în comentarii ce credeți că o să fie în zona asta roșie. Și, oameni buni, cam ăsta a fost episodul. Eu sper că v-a plăcut. Un episod chiar foarte interesant. chiar mi-a plăcut, deci asta a fost pe transmisiunea live, dar apoi a fost o eroare, nu știu mai exact care a fost cauza, habar nu am, dar dacă v-a plăcut acest episod, nu uitați să dați pe butonul de like și noi ne vom vedea data viitoare. Pa, pa!